Another week, another pile of shenanigans from my fellow Americans on the internet.
We don't need no British language or Canadian language or Hawaiian language or Alaskan language. We need just American, okay? Just American language.
And we never cease to amaze the public with how seemingly unintelligent we are sometimes on the internet. So today we're gonna be diving into some more posts catching Americans in 4K saying some crazy stuff. So again, if you have heard anything from us Americans saying anything crazy, listen, I'm not absolved. I've said some crazy things myself. Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So our first post says, bro, I'm in France. I couldn't give a single about what's happening in Texas. Just let me watch my gifts in peace. And then it says, dear user, as you may know, your elected officials in Texas are requiring us to verify your age before allowing you to access our website. Not only does this impinge on the rights of adults to access protected speech, it fails strict scrutiny by employing the least effective and yet also most restrictive means of accomplishing Texas's stated purpose. What? How did that make it to France? I don't understand. But it's not for me to understand, it's for y'all to understand. Let's look in the comments and see what y'all had to say. As you may know, honey, this is France. How did France get a Texas memo? Okay, that don't make no sense. Now, what I can see is maybe the website geotagged this individual. Maybe they were using a VPN and boom, this probably happened because I've been getting ads from the States since I'm in Korea and I've been using NordVPN. No, this is not a sponsor. And it's weird. Whenever I turn my VPN off, all of it stops. I get just the local ads and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I just think, I find it funny because obviously you are geotagged wherever you are, so you do get ads accordingly. Isn't Paris in Texas? No, it's in Tennessee. Troll commas, man, troll commas. I love that this is the big issue in the USA right now. Nothing else demands emailing everyone internationally. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, what? What is happening? Let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on this in the comments down below, because this is a little weird, all right? But not as weird as the next post. The top of the post says, spoiler, Native American. So it says women's size is linked with how provocatively she's dressed. I'm allowed to wear a bra and go outside. It's considered fashionable, but if someone with a D cup or larger did that, it's perceived as inappropriate or over-sexualized. It's pretty ridiculous since breasts aren't inherently sexual. Before colonization, Indian women never wore tops. It's just another way to police women's bodies. So, with that being said, the comment underneath says, Native American, please don't call them Indian. Well, the follow-up comment actually says, just to clarify, I'm talking about Indian people from the country of India. Okay, that's a perfect example of US defaultism. Assuming that the original poster was talking about America before verifying the information. I just think that's what a lot of this boils down to. Just verify before you leave a comment, okay? And of course, we're getting flack from the United Kingdom, a classic. And then another person comments, this reminds me of a conversation I had with an American man. Him. This guy asked me where I'm from. I said Georgia, and he replied, that's a beautiful country. What an idiot. He thinks Georgia is a country. Me. There is a country called Georgia, though. Him. What? Where? Me. It borders Russia. Him. Why do they call it Georgia? It's confusing. The Kingdom of Georgia was established in the 11th century. Okay. It's leagues older than the United States. So, what? It does still shock me, the lack of education from a lot of Americans in particular when it comes to these things, because you would think that with the internet freely at our disposal, there would be a lot less of that, but I guess it's only exposing a lot more of this because, you know, it's too convenient to do research on the internet, it being in your fingertips, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't even have to type anymore. You could just talk to Siri or whatever AI bot you got in your phone. In Germany, we took quite an interesting way. Instead of translating the English Indian for Native Americans, we took the Latin form Indianos. So Indians from India are Inder, but Indians as Native Americans are Indiana in German. Interesting. A very clear distinction, so there's less confusion and whatnot. This post says, I don't know what country this is, but it clearly isn't America. And you can tell immediately off rip, looking at the back of this guy's vest, that it's not America. And then furthermore, if you look further up, another individual has something on his shirt. Pretty sure he looks like security or whatever, but also a similarly worded, or I guess like alphabetized word on his back. And it gives the innuendo that this is not America. For any of my fellow people who have played GeoGuessr, that would have been a dead giveaway. Now, reading the actual post itself, it says, security remove and detain a man. That's the blurb for the picture. But then underneath that, it says, let me guess, First Amendment auditor desperate for views on his YouTube channel with 5 subscribers. So he goes and acts like a jackass and records security rightfully removing him, and he acts like he's being harassed by the power-tripping fascist security guards. I don't know what pent-up energy this individual had when he was commenting this, but he clearly didn't even look at the picture for real, because he had this brewing in the pot regardless. I feel like that comment was destined to go literally anywhere. And I guess this post just happened to be his target of convenience. So what can I say? It's Finnish. See, I didn't know what the language was, but makes sense. To be fair, that never stopped First Amendment auditors, mostly because these people are too stupid to tell the difference anyway. And to that, I say factual. Of course. I mean, if you were already locked in on the First Amendment auditor thing, was gonna be a thing regardless. Bro got finished by Finnish. Fatality. Oh my gosh. But speaking of which, this next post will have you saying, oh my gosh. So the top of this post says, drinking at 19 is illegal. Let's read the post. I'm 19 and it feels illegal for me to drink and buy alcohol. Me being an adult just doesn't sit right with me, LMAO. The next comment says, probably because it is. And then the comment underneath, or the original poster replies, in my country, the legal age to drink is 18. And then the person who messed up realizes his mistake, assuming this person's American, says, type shit. And then the original poster is like, type shit is a Gen Z lingo. It's brain rot, I know. So obviously people are probably going to be inquiring about that. I'm always fascinated by this statement, and some people don't want to believe that I drank beer and wine spritzers legally for the first time when I was 14. Yeah, because in America, we can buy guns at 16, but for some weird reason, we cannot drink until we are 21. And apparently, we can't smoke until we're 21 now because of capitalism. All right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look into the Juul pod fiasco in America that changed the whole tobacco game. All right, our next comment says, why can they get guns before they can legally buy alcohol? Makes 0 sense. Rah, rah, America. And that's what I'm saying. It never made sense to me. I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me we can buy guns as teenagers and we can't drink until we're 21? What? That don't make no sense, sir. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Maybe you feel the same way, because clearly this commenter felt the same way. But what do you think? And of course, this comment says, the fuck is type shit, bro. It's Gen Z brain rot, like I was saying earlier.
So, okay, you grew up in the hood.
Type shit, yeah.
Type shit, all right.
Don't involve yourself in that, man. But we got a post right here that's kind of diabolical. It says, using English on the internet makes the statement American, apparently. Well, it says, from the US, that's just how it goes on the internet. And then it says, yeah, kinda, the US has 350 million English speakers. If anything is said online in English, it's heavily implied that it's in the US. Sorry that Finland or Malta or wherever you're from has a small population of primarily non-English speakers, and it makes you feel neglected, but that doesn't change the math. Okay, my guy, let's just, oh my God. I'm gonna let y'all speak on this one real quick, okay? Let me let you guys cook, because that's ridiculous, right? Assuming that most English speakers are American is kind of insane. Maths. This individual from England just straight up says, maths. Laughs in India. Like, India, they speak English and another language as well. So, or another language and English, I should say, because they speak another language before English. But if you've seen most of the content, especially on India, YouTube and stuff like that, which I'm sure y'all have encountered at least once when you were looking up a tutorial for your computer, half of it's in English, the other half is in, like, I don't know, their dialect, their language. I don't know what the language is. It could be Farsi, it could be whatever, but yeah, it's confusing. Can we just take English back off them? They can't cope with the responsibility of the power. Or maybe we could put a tariff on it. A tariff on English is crazy work. Moving on to our next post. Ah, yes, Birmingham, Alabama, where they talk with a thick Brummie accent. And they're referring to this TikTok here. It says, man base jumps off skyscraper in Birmingham. And the comment underneath it says, I didn't know Alabama had skyscrapers like this. It got 17 downvotes. And I'm pretty sure y'all know why. Listen, I can't pretend that I would not have been caught in the crossfire also. I might have initially thought that they were referring to Alabama, but if you take a quick look at the fucking picture, bruh, it doesn't look like Alabama at all. That is far too advanced. And Alabama is basically the Stone Ages, all right? Like, they're way behind. What do you expect on a website where the subreddit r/Birmingham is for the Alabama one that no one knows about? And of course, they had some upvotes and stuff because they're like, I didn't know that there was a Birmingham that was outside of the US. And that right there is defaultism. Another user from the United States says, I was going to say that Birmingham, Alabama is the better Birmingham because it has hot chicken, but I fact checked myself and Brummies have howlin', so the point is moot. Another fun fact is that Birmingham, Alabama has the 4th highest murder rate in the US, and I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh my God. You'd probably have better odds base jumping than turning down the wrong street. Although, as the original poster mentioned, Birmingham, Alabama's buildings don't hold a candle to its namesake. And that's exactly what I was saying. If you look really quickly at the picture, you can infer that they're not referring to the United States Birmingham, right? Got a funny one is what this next post says. So this is under r/Switzerland, and it says, what chocolate do you recommend? Now, keep this in mind, it's under r/Switzerland. Switzerland has some of the best chocolate in the world, arguably, at least in my opinion. You let me know in the comments down below where the best chocolate in the world comes from in your opinion. But right here, the original poster clarifies this question with a, hello everyone, I'll be visiting Switzerland shortly and I wanted to know what are some brands or places that I can get the best chocolate in your opinion. I don't mind the price and I just want to try the best chocolate I can while I'm there. I'll be around Zurich, Lucerne, and Lugano mainly. So, of course, I'm like, easy. You're gonna get a lot of responses. There's 148 comments, but this particular comment says, depending on where you live in the States, my small town in Mississippi has every wood brand from the Aldi brands on the shelf in our local Piggly Wiggly. And I was confused because I'm like, where in the world did it say at all best chocolate in America? Like, where did it say best chocolate in America? I'm so confused. Where did it say at all? It's under r/Switzerland. So there's a few buffers you could have got to before you commented, right? Initially, the Reddit thread, like the subreddit itself is r/Switzerland. And then, of course, they probably just read the big bold letters, what chocolate do you recommend, and didn't actually read the paragraph underneath that, and they decided to just blindly answer this and embarrass themselves and wind up on this video. That might be the funniest American defaultism I've seen so far. You can't make this up. And I honestly have to agree. What? What were they thinking, bro? Who doesn't know it? The world famous chocolate only sold by Aldi in Mississippi. Germany's up too, man. Germany's up too. And then this one says, dude, what? I'm struggling to grasp the internal logic which led to that reply. It doesn't make any sense. Usually there's some logic behind defaultism, even if it's a flawed one. Can't find it here because, sir, you won't find it here. There was zero logic in that reply. The person didn't even look for real. They just read the damn question and defaulted. That was like the fastest default I've seen so far. All right. Now, if you guys got a default story, let me know in the comments down below. All right. And if you haven't liked the video already, go ahead and drop a like. Now, the next post says, what is that title? And it says Beer Study, Chapel Hill, NC. And then, of course, the blast says Orville. Listen, I already knew where this was headed when I looked at Chapel Hill, NC, because a lot of people from America, myself included, would have thought that this was North Carolina, right? The NC was short for North Carolina, and that is exactly what defaultism is. You gotta look at the entirety of the post. First of all, Orville, this beer, right? I don't think I've seen this in the States. Now, the States is very diverse, so it's not uncommon to have stuff like this in different bars. So I can't be entirely mad if somebody was like, is this North Carolina? I'm not sure if there's any place that would sell this, but maybe. So let's go ahead and look at the comments and see what y'all had to say about this. This is a Belgian subreddit, so I think NC must stand for North Charleroi. It only makes sense. And then the next comment is North Camden, New California, Nicolas Cage, who knows? I don't know what it stands for. Chapel Hill, I still don't know what it stands for. Let me know in the comments down below, because again, my geography is just as cooked as the next Americans, all right? Now, not all Americans think like this, but it is funny when you catch a lot of us lacking on the internet with comments and, you know, things like these posts. Now, it says right here, Oval is a great beer. The monastery is very close to Belgium-French border. So that's actually really cool. Now, this next post, right, is gonna be kind of interesting, because it says, and mind you, Sorcerer's Stone isn't even the original name either. Now, this is gonna ruffle some feathers, because I have been arguing with people about this probably since I was 6 years old, because initially my little 6-year-old self was like, no, it's just the Sorcerer's Stone. And then my friend from England, right, you know, there was an English kid in my class, it's the Philosopher's Stone. So let's read the rest of this post. It says Philosopher's Stone 5 a.m. and the top comment, of course, is gonna say it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And the reply was, not everyone is American. Oh my God. And again, the original title of Harry Potter was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for the first book. And people don't know this. Now, in the world, the rest of the world, it is literally Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. But America doesn't understand what a goddamn Philosopher's Stone is. So I'm not even sure how most Americans watch Full Metal Alchemist if they don't know what a Philosopher's Stone is. Do Americans still call it the Sorcerer's Stone? What about the legendary Philosopher's Stone of Alchemy? Do they call that the Sorcerer's Stone as well? Yes. Unfortunately, yes. But listen, where we're making a comeback is anime, man. Full Metal Alchemist, for some reason, everybody's brain clicked when they were talking about the Philosopher's Stone. But then when you throw Harry Potter in the same mix, it's the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah, you love to see it. Well, anyways, I always think it's funny that they had to change the Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone because Americans apparently don't know what a philosopher is. All right, great. Give us some grace, man. Maybe most of us don't know what that is, but there's at least one individual in the United States that probably knows what it is, okay? So it says, my British brain always gets really confused when I see the English simplified title. Harry Potter and the what stone? Exactly. It was the Philosopher's Stone, but again, America couldn't handle it, so they switched the title a little bit, and you know what I'm saying, like in America it is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and everywhere else it looked different. So we think it's the hidden Harry Potter movie that nobody got to see, and in fact it's just the first book, right? The first book, first movie, you know, crazy. Moving on, we got one more to knock out for y'all. And hopefully you guys are filling the comments up with some very interesting stories, because I love reading through them. It is so funny, and I'm like, God, the secondhand embarrassment is diabolical. This one's interesting because it says, Red thinks every emergency call happens in the US. So this Red commenter says, the stupid operator said 999 and not 911. The Green commenter says, yep, it's called other countries. Not every emergency line is 911. But I learned some interesting things actually as I was going through the comments, because I did not know this. I did learn that because a lot of Americans in general think that every emergency number, and no matter what country you're at, is 911, a lot of countries will direct you to the actual emergency line if you dial 911 in their country. Not all of them, but a lot of countries that are like, okay, we obviously have some people that are like, And I think vice versa. Maybe it's like that in America, where people are dialing like their home emergency number, like 112 or whatever, it directs them to the 911 line, you know? And that's a nice way to save people who default to their own countries and stuff like that. Because of course, there is not just US defaultism. I'm pretty sure there's a bit of defaultism everywhere, especially in France. Yeah, so it's to make it easier to save people from egregious events, all right? So this comment actually says, even if you didn't know other countries use different emergency numbers, the person has no critical thinking. What explanation could there be for a verbal typo like that? I mean, the speaker just glitched into mid of their sentence and yeah, basically they had a brain fart, bro. Like, what is going on? This next comment says, many phones will call the local number when you dial 911 as a built-in feature, which is what I learned. When you roam, the phone downloads local data and is connected to the network even if you're not using data in minutes. And 911 will act as a catch-all for emergency call in general. Not all makes of phones do this though, but I'm willing to bet it saved some lives. That being said, the guy in the original post image is very close-minded. Yeah, absolutely do agree with that. And it's something that I learned that was pretty new, because I'm like, oh, okay, like if you dial the wrong emergency number, you're just absolutely fried by default. But in some cases, you actually get directed to the local emergency number, which I thought was actually really cool and is absolutely gonna save some lives for people who don't think outside the box. So, this last comment right here actually says, wait until they find out that some countries have different numbers for different emergencies. And I think that's actually very cool, because so many times you dial 911 in America, right? And it take you to an operator and they have to direct you based on blah, 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 right? So all of the emergencies are on one centralized controlled point, and they need to identify what they're getting into. So there's a lot of preliminary questions before they can actually help you. And if you're in a dire situation, well, let's just say you may be cooked. I think having multiple different types of emergency numbers helps mitigate the questions and stuff, because you know that if they're calling that emergency hotline, it's going to be surrounding those types of emergencies. It's time for me to get on out of here. Let me know what you think about these posts and more others like it. Let me know what the craziest thing we've said to you guys is in the comments down below, as always, and I'll see you soon. And if you're feeling bad, hopefully this made you feel a little bit better about yourself.